Hello everyone, this is Coach of the Pulse Diancies here for week 3 of the MLD. And I'm facing off a very scary opponent, the Boston Snoms, and their team is definitely a threat and not a treat. Very, very scary mons in their team, and I'm just gonna go and get into it. So first up is Berserker, and you may not think Berserker is that scary, but then you realize it gets Steely Spirit, which boosts all of its steel moves by 1.5 times damage, which is essentially a choice band without the choice restriction to all the steel moves. And then it also gets Tough Claws, and then it's also a Z user, and then it also gets like Iron Head in close combat and Crunch and some other coverage moves that I'm probably not thinking about right now. So Berserker is definitely something to worry about and something that I'm scared of. Next is Zapdos, which gets Hurricane now, so it actually has a pretty good flying move to hit with. It does a lot of damage. It also gets Heat Wave. It gets both Volt Switch and U-Turn, and it can be a very, very good wall with Roost and Defog. So it chooses to be, or it could just go that offensive route with like the Hurricanes and Volt Switches and stuff without really even trying. Next is Mega Gallade. It basically just hits everything hard. It gets Bulk Up, it gets Swords Dance, it gets Priority with Shadow Sneak, it gets Knockoff, and it can also run like sort of a support set with like Heal Bell or Teleport or whatever. And I did mention this on the last team. They had regular Gallade. It can run 4 status moves, which I just think is funny. Next is the other Z user, which is Superior. Contrary Superior is definitely nothing to ignore. If it gets Leaf Storms up, because every time it uses Leaf Storm, it would normally lower your special attack by 2 stages, but now it raises them by 2 stages because of Contrary, and sort of with a mix of that and coverage in like Dragon Pulse, Hidden Power, stuff like that, definitely scary. Or it could just run Subseed and ruin your day. Because like Substitute Leech Seed is a very good set. It's very annoying. It's hard to deal with. I remember I used to use that with Meganium of all Pokemon in OU and Gen 7, and it would work. So if Meganium can do it, then Superior can definitely do it. And speaking of having multiple scary sets, the next one is Komodo, which got major buffs to this gen, honestly. It got Clangorous Soul, which is an Omni boost, but it's also a sound move, so it can be boosted by Throat Spray. It still gets Dragon Dance. It gets like a Stealth Rocks Iron Defense Body Press set. It can run like that sort of defensive set with a Body Press, or it can run like the offensive Sweeper set with a Dragon Dance. And that's just extremely scary because if you get the set wrong, you could just lose, or I could just lose. Next Pokemon is Salazzle. There are 2 main sets that Salazzle runs, which is either the special boosting set with either Specs or Nasty Plot, which with great coverage with like Sludge Wave, Flamethrower, Fire Blast, Dragon Pulse, stuff like that. Or the Substitute Toxic set, because with the ability of Corrosion, Toxic can hit Poison and Steel types and poison them. Which basically just allows Salazzle to wear down anything, regardless of what type it is. Doesn't care. Porygon 2 is the next Pokemon. It functions as a Great Wall with Eviolite. Could also be Trick Room. I noticed there's a small Trick Room thing going on with Berserker and Porygon 2. But just with either Trace or Download, like Tri-Attack still hits decently hard. It gets great coverage. Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, Shadow Ball, just kind of that stuff. And it just has longevity and recover and teleport. So, do a ton of different things. Have to be ready for all of them. Gardevoir is next. It can also run Calm Mind. It also gets Trace. Or it could just run Scarf. Just a couple different things. It actually hits pretty hard. It's surprisingly hard. with like the coverage of like Moonblast or Psychic, but I also get Shadow Ball and Mystical Fire. So like my Steel types, like my Skarmory or whatever, they're not safe from Gardevoir either. Palisand is next. It's actually pretty bulky. I think it has like 125 defense. Special defense is a bit lower, but it's still pretty bulky on the special side, to be honest. And it got Scorching Sands, which is essentially a ground type Scald. Gets Shore Up, which is just Recover, but it's better than Recover. Can run Water Compaction, I guess. Can run like the Toxic set. I thought it got Strength Sap. It doesn't get Strength Sap, but it gets Giga Drain, and which is pretty good, honestly, just sort of as a coverage move. So I have to definitely be worried about that. Fortress is also a great physical wall, or just kind of a wall in general, but it also gets Spikes, Stealth Rock, Rapid Spin, Volt Switch. It's a slow like Gyro Ball user. And so it has like a ton of utility in that hazard department there. I have to be ready for that, or else I can just get Spikes spammed on and just lose. And then finally is the Dynamax user, which is Torpedo, the Big Shark. With Speed Boost, it's basically impossible to outrun, and it also hits extremely hard, especially with Max Geyser setting up the rain for it, which means that its next Max Geyser will be even stronger, or it can go for the Max Knuckle because it gets close combat. And then raises attack, so all of its attacks are now extremely powerful. And then, like I said, coupled with the speed boost, it can just turn into this snowball that I won't be able to deal with if I am not careful. So that's their team. I'm going to go through my team to beat it. So first off, we have Ditto. It does a couple things. One, it beats the Dynamax, kind of depending on its set and how offensive it is. If it's like max offensive, then I should be able to KO it with just a regular close combat. I don't need the Dynamax. Yeah, just with close combat and just remove it from the field. But other than that, just great as always, just in terms of Dynamaxing. Still running 52 HP because that's the only set that really matters. Other than that, it's Ditto. Don't really have much else to say. So next off, we're bringing Mega Slowbro. We are bringing Mega Slowbro, yes. So with Shell Armor, we can't be crit. Which is cool. We get Iron Defense and Amnesia, but we're just running Iron Defense. With Iron Defense, it boosting your defense, strengthening Body Press, also making it so that we take even hits even better from like Gallade and Berserker. I believe if we get an Iron Defense up, we can successfully stall out the Dynamax. Yes. And then Slockoff is just there for longevity, and then Toxic is there just for toxic purposes, whittle down the opponent's team. We're just running max defense to power up the body press further. I did originally have Scald instead of body press to deal with Palisand and Salazzle there. I did change it, but I'm not sure if that was the best choice. We'll get into that when we get to the match. Other than that, that's Slowbro. Moving on. We're running Specs Coco, Celestia. Oh boy. So, the thing about Choice Specs is that Palisand exists. So I maybe running Specs was not the best choice, but it's the immediacy of its power with just Dazzling Gleam. Spam, yeah, just spams Dazzling Gleam, honestly. It is pretty good with that, if I'm being completely honest. Thunderbolt is just a great attacking move. Grass Knot hits the Palisand, and then U-turn just to switch out. Not sure if I should have run Volt Switch instead, but I was scared of the Palisand, so U-turn it is. And as for EVs, we are running enough speed to outspeed Salazzle, and then I just put the rest in special attack and HP. So, next up, I'm gonna go Skarmory. So, you may look at that moveset there and go, why are you doing this to me? What have I done to you? Um, or you're just very confused. So, let me explain. You got Stone Rock. It applies pressure mainly to Zapdos, because Zapdos is very hard for me to break. It also does a good job of whittling down Salazzle. Toxic is mainly there to hit things like the Palisand, the Zapdos, just kind of everything except Salazzle, because Salazzle isn't affected by Toxic, because I unfortunately do not have Corrosion. And just kind of whittle that down, and then Roost Longevity. Counter. Counter is an interesting pick, to say the least. As you'll see with that defense EVs, the logic is that if the rain is up, Max Tack, Adamant, Life, or Sharpedo with the Max Geyser will always do enough even to where Counter, even if it's Dynamaxed, will 100% of the time retaliate and kill it. And I also need a specially defensive wall, so I just chose Skarmory because my other wall, which was Slowbro, was kind of already taken. So I just did that and ran with it. Next up, we are running Drapion. Yeah, I know we're not running AV this time. Well, that's interesting. Why is that? Because 95 speed gets outrun by like all their wall breakers. Like they have Superior, Mega Glade, Salazzle, yeah, honestly, that's kind of it, to be honest. I know, Sharpedo, just like that, all outruns Drapion, and so I just kind of needed to run Scarf. Got Poison Jab and Knockoff just for that. Earthquake is coverage, mainly for Salazzle, honestly, and then just ran Toxic Spikes because I didn't need another move, and I couldn't really think of another move to run, to be honest. So I just ran Toxic Spikes. And then lastly, oh yeah, right. I gave it enough special defense. I put quite a bit of special defense in it, and then the speed. I believe I outrun. I forget actually. I think I outrun Superior. That was what I was worrying about with the Scarf and the speed investment. And then lastly, we have Zygarde. So you, as the viewer, are probably wondering what a Moringa Berry is. Let me explain. When I am hit by a special attack, my special defense raises. So if you've heard of the Key Berry, that's the special variant Moringa Berry. If the special variant Key Berry is the physically defensive variant of that. And so we get into now thousandaires. These EVs, with the 228 special defense and the max HP, this should theoretically beat Zapdos. Because what happens is Zapdos will use Hidden Power Ice, which will deal, which won't be a 2-hit KO. That will trigger the Moringa Berry. And then from there, it will be a 3-hit KO, which means that I'll be able to stall it out with Rest. This set also destroys the Subtoxic Salazzle. I basically just have Glare to slow down the Wall Breakers, so that if I have like my Scarf on Drapion gets knocked off or something, or just it makes Ditto's job easier too. Just slow him down. And then I just got Coil at 1,000 Arrows because, well, Coil is good because it means that I get to raise my defense so I can live hits better, like from the Dynamax and stuff. And 1,000 Arrows is just the spam move because it hits everything. So that's the team, and let's get into the replay now. So I was really worried going into this match about Superior plus Salazzle because Salazzle dealt with everything pretty well except Zygarde, and Zygarde got utterly walled by Superior, and because I needed the Moringa Berry, just kind of as much as possible. Yeah, I needed the Moringa Berry, and so if I was forced to send in the Zygarde early, I would be forced to switch out because of the Superior stuff like that. And so I see Superior and Salazzle there, and I'm like, oh no. So I definitely haven't worked it out for me this time. Other ones are Porygon 2, which I wasn't really expecting, but it's good, you know. I had it in mind when I was prepping. Palisand, which I absolutely expected. Sharpedo, which I'm scared of because I have no answers for. Like no immediate hard counter answers for. And then Zapdos, which I also basically don't have hard counter answers for. So I believe I lead Drapion. Just because it provides a good utility versus pretty much everything. It's faster than Zapdos, Sharpedo, Superior, Salazzle, stuff like that, and they can knock off the Palisand and Porygon too. So Zapdos comes out here, and I just figure, oh well, let's just knock it off, see what sort of it is. See what it is, and it is the Heavy Duty Boots. So that basically tells me that it's functioning sort of as a wall in this matchup. So it just goes for Volt Switch, and goes into Superior. And so I was potentially worried about Glare here, but I figured that if I was going to be glared, Drapion isn't too useful, especially because it already got the knockoff on Zapdos, which is amazing. So I just went for knockoff again, just to see what it is. If it was leftovers, I could punish the substitute. If it was something else, I don't know. I see choice specs. Then goes for Leaf Storm. And okay, cool. So now what? Because things aren't really that great for me. Just kind of immediately, because if it goes for Hidden Power Fire, I am kind of dead. Not gonna lie, I'm just kind of dead. Skarmory can't wall this thing. Either way, I just decided to go to Ditto because I thought it would Leaf Storm again. Just the chances of it Leaf Storming were higher than anything else. I don't know, maybe it would Hidden Power Fire. Either way, I see it goes for Hidden Power Fire, and then I see it's resisted. I'm like, wait, what? Oh, by the way, something I forgot to mention is that Hidden Power is based off of sort of your Pokemon's IVs rather than the opponent's Pokemon's IVs, I guess, when you copy. So my Ditto had a different Hidden Power than them, and my Ditto had Hidden Power Fire. Mainly for the Fortress. I forgot to mention that. But that is very important right now. Because now I am able to sort of threaten them out with that. I just go for Dragon Pulse, though. Because it's just a good coverage move. Yeah, they go for Toxic. I'm fine with that. I just think Dragon Pulse again, not really much else to do. See what happens. They go Porygon 2. And I see Dragon Pulse is about 24%, which means that they're specially defensive, but they're not completely specially defensive. Either way, now I am staring down a +1 special attack Porygon 2, and that's not really the greatest for me. So I just kind of have to switch out. I go back into Drapion because it's just kind of the least useful member right now. I can just provide the knockoff support that it had. Anyway, they go for Teleport, and that says something. Because they have Recover, and then they have to choose from Tri Attack, Thunderbolt, and Ice Beam. And so, sort of as we see, we'll get through that. So anyway, I just go for Poison Gel on the Zapdos to see if I can get the poison. I don't. And they just Volt Switch again, and I'm fine with that. But yeah, they definitely know I'm Scarf. I definitely know I'm Scarf. And so they just go into Salazzle. I just Poison Jab again. There really isn't much for you to do. So yeah, you go for Toxic. I'm like, okay, cool. So it's Toxic, the Subtoxic Salazzle. Yeah, so I go back into Ditto here just to confirm it. Yes, they are indeed the Subtoxic Salazzle. They try to go for Toxic again, thinking that I'm going to switch out, which I did, but I switched into Ditto, which was already Toxic, so it didn't matter. Either way, I think I can just try for Toxic now. But yeah, they go for Protect. Yeah, I just went for Toxic. Anyway, the Subtoxic thing is great news for me because that means that Zygarde walls this thing, just hard counters it every single time. which, you know, pretty good. Either way, they go back into Superior, probably just to sack it off. And since I don't really want much more damage on my Salazzle, I just go Drapion. They confirm, yes, they were hitting Power Ground, and Superior is gone. So remember that thing I said about Zygarde? Well, Superior is gone. So now Zygarde does its thing. Anyway, I just go Coco. So, yeah. I just Thunderbolt here. I decided that it is the best use of my time. And so I was thinking about predicting the Palisand switch and going Skarmory, but I just decided to Thunderbolt again. Since they don't know I'm Specs, and if they, I don't know. So either way, yeah. Now I go into Skarmory. I get crit, which is super unfortunate because now I'm essentially put in this game of, well, what do I do now? I know I can live any hit, so like even if it crits, because that crits at 52%. So I just decided to get my rocks up. The Zapdos is like less than half. It was at 44. So unless that thing defogs away, it doesn't really have much of a lifespan anymore. And that means that the rocks are here to stay. Sorry if I'm pausing too much. Either way, I'm just gonna try to stall this thing out more, recover, so I can get the toxic on it. Just see what I can do. But then it gets a little death drop, and I'm like, yeah. So at this point, I'm basically just sacking it off, honestly. I think I might have lived a hit, or I might have been able to stall it out more, but I decided getting the toxic was worth it. Either way, they go back into Zapdos. It's like, okay. I'm fine with that. What happens is, Zapdos has a Volt Switch, and that means that the rocks are 100% here to stay. Because they knocked off their boots, and they died a Stealth Rock, and that is their only way of removing hazards. And I don't know, maybe they were banking on me defogging for them, but I don't have defog on this team, so yeah. Anyway, they go Porygon 2 and get their Attack Boost again because I forgot to account for download. I decided to Thunderbolt here. They go for Tri Attack, and that means something good for me. That's good for me actually, because what happens is they have Recover. They already revealed. I mean, they obviously have Recover. They already revealed Teleport and Tri Attack, and that means that their last move is either Ice Beam or Thunderbolt. And if it's Thunderbolt, then Zygarde walls it, and if it's Ice Beam, then Skarmory walls it. Like, just completely. And so, rather than trying to do anything, I just decided to go Skarmory because I know, like, 100% this works out. They go Palisand, just like before, and I believe what I do is I Toxic. Yeah. They go Salazzle, and there really isn't much I can do about that. I kind of have to go Zygarde, but either way, I'm kind of fine with going Zygarde, because like I mentioned before, Zygarde just kind of does its thing now that Superior is gone, and if I get enough Coils up, I will be able to completely wall their Dynamax, Sharpedo, and then I basically win from there, honestly. Anyway, they go for Substitute. I'm fine with that. And this is basically the point where I just set up all of the coins. I'm gonna increase the speed because, yeah. Yeah, as you see, they go for Flamethrower, which is great because that means that my Morangan Berry is triggered. I can basically rest up whenever I really want to, but now that I have my 3 coils, I believe that is the point at which their Dynamax does not beat me. Yes, and so now I rest up, and we basically win now, honestly. I just have to sort of beat the Salazzle, and then I kind of sweep your team, to be honest. So what happens here is, I believe this is the turn where I wake up, go for 1,000 Arrows. Yeah, they sack off Zapdos. I just Coil again, because just to do things further. Anyway, they go for Destiny Bond. And I go for Glare. So, I was not thinking about Destiny Bond. I'm not even sure why I glared, honestly. It was probably just a waste of Dynamax, just like in case of a crit, I would still be able to win. Because, like in that case, Skarmory plus Coco and like Ditto and stuff, I would have had a chance if I got crit. Whereas if I hadn't glared and I did get crit, I would not have been able to win. Like their Dynamax would just have run me over. Either way, now I just Coil again because I'm faster than them. And that's sort of the way Destiny Bond works. I did calculate this. After the Glare, even after one turn of Speed Boost, I would still outspeed them. And if I did 1,000 arrows there, the Destiny Bond effect would still happen, and my Zygarde would die. So I had to Coil there, and then I went for the 1,000 arrows. Anyway, they burned me, so I have to rest now. Which kind of sucks, but whatever. It's not too big of a deal. Once I wake up here, there really isn't anything they can do because I outspeed everything on their team. And so, well, no, I don't outspeed the Salazzle, but Salazzle can't really do anything to me. And so I kind of just clean up from here. Yeah, see Salazzle, goes for Flamethrower, fill it with 1,000 arrows. Shpio comes in, Dynamaxes, I still outspeed it, go for 1,000 arrows, kill it. And then finally we have a Porygon 2, which they forfeit. So yeah, I won. No, I won 5-0, but I don't think that saying this is a 5-0 really reflects how close this battle was. Because like as you see, my Ditto 28%. Slowbro didn't come out, doesn't really matter, and it didn't really do anything, honestly. Like got completely walled by Palisand and Salazzle. Because I didn't have Scald. Coco, 17%. Skarmory dies to Salazzle, and depending on what moves this Porygon has, it could add a Porygon 2. And so, this match was incredibly close. And I'm very much looking forward, if I do get to play them again in playoffs, to play that again. Of course, I'm also looking forward to playing all my previous matches in playoffs, but this one, this was a very hard match to prep for, just because all of the wall breakers killed me. But then again, all of my wall breakers killed them, so that was just sort of the thing of like who could wall break the fastest. In terms of what I could have done better, honestly, I think I did pretty well on. Like I had a game plan, which was win with Zygarde. When Superior went down, Superior went down. Zygarde came in, did its thing. But in terms of prep, just sort of accounting for the mons that my opponents had, I think Scald definitely was a better option than Body Press. Because, like, while I still got walled by Sharpedo, after an Air Defense, that doesn't really even matter. So I could have just stalled them out with Scald. And if I got a burn with Scald, then, well, there you go. Other than that, I think I did pretty well, yeah. I don't know. See you all in week 4 or whenever next time is. So, see you next time.